Um, so I'm going to tell you a little secret. I haven't recorded a video since like the 10th of April. Um, Anything I have posted previous to now was pre-recorded for those days because I went on a little trip, and on that trip I got to learn a few lessons, and some of those lessons I will be able to bring into light in future videos. But for now, welcome back to Solace. I've missed you. Um, I hope you've been well. Today I have a little bit more of a rejuvenated sense of energy, so I can come at things from a newer perspective. But let me cut to the chase. Today we're going to talk about reprogramming the mind. The last video I had recorded was talking about the fact that the mind is programmed. Take into consideration the fact that the brain is the terminal service that all electrical feedback loops through, and that is how you are consciously brought about, partially at least in that way, because we also have the soul and the spirit, and we'll get to those at later times. But for now, just understand that your brain is the receiver for all the thoughts that come into your brain, meaning those thoughts are not you. You are not your thoughts, okay? That's going to be one of the biggest things for those who do not know this to get through your head. You are not the thoughts that come to you. Your brain is the receiver for these things so that you can then transmit them in the way that you would choose to. That's why you'll notice things like maybe you've thought of an idea and then a week or two later someone else has that same idea, but you never said it out loud, and they live like 3 countries away from you, if that works that way. What you'll notice in that is the fact that thoughts are not yours to own. You can't own your thoughts. Now, when you decide to lay ownership upon your thoughts, this is when we start to identify with something like the ego. You do not want to identify with your ego because your ego is built on survival mechanisms that are pretty prehistoric. They're like your primal instincts, I'll say for now. So, with that being said, we have to take in consideration what we can do to reprogram these thoughts that were given to us that hold us back from becoming who we're supposed to be. One of the ways we can do this is by, and believe it or not, it genuinely works, providing gratitude for the things that come in towards you and the things that you already have. The reason this works is because your perspective is based on your reality. Yay, we all know this at this point. However, because that is the case, the more gratitude you start to surround yourself with, the higher of a state of mind you'll constantly be in to be able to understand that the things you already have are all you've ever needed. Now, with that in mind, what you'll be able to do is start to convert your mindset to understanding that anything that you want, you also already have, even if you cannot physically perceive it. That is its own thing, and I'll get into that eventually. But for now, just understand that gratitude is a great way to open your mind up to the idea that you already have everything that you need. Another thing I like to tell people, do not use the word need. It is a scarcity-based word, and words do have genuine meaning, okay? So when we talk about the things that we desire to have, what you need to say is something such as, I already have this, okay? You speak as if you're already at the place you want to be, okay? I'm pretty sure Neville Goddard spoke about this. I need to study him a lot more, so that I can also transfer this here. But it genuinely works. Once you start to identify with the idea that you are already where you want to be, you are there. Time is seamless, and to live in the present is to have all of the power that you need to begin with, right? Okay. 2, a good way to reprogram the mind is to silence it. And a good way to silence the mind is to meditate. I know. You've heard meditate over and over and over and over and over again. You've probably tried it once or twice or 3 times, or maybe even 10 times. And each time you try it, you just can't put it together. Listen, you're not a fucking toddler. You can sit down for 20 minutes, 10 minutes even, and just give yourself time to calm it down. We already have enough shit going on, enough spiraling chaos surrounding us on a daily basis, to the point where giving yourself 10 minutes at least to just sort through it will make a lot of difference. And not only will it make a difference, but it'll bring you closer to where you want to be. Why? Because the more you meditate, the more control you gain over the mind. Okay? The more these thoughts that come through to you, the more they affect you less. And so the signals start to become a little looser. And then you start to be able to think about the thoughts that you really want to think about. And maybe even engage in some of your intuition, because all that chatter starts to go away. Now with meditation, I will suggest that you start off as 10 minutes. Like, I wouldn't say you have to start off with a 30-minute meditation. I know it's especially now with attention spans, I'm gonna keep bringing it up. Yeah, I don't expect anybody to really just jump straight into that. If you can, or if you already have been, you already know what I'm talking about. But I genuinely highly suggest at least finding some form of guided meditation, if nothing else, for you to get comfortable into it. If you prefer to lay down instead of sit up, you can do it. It doesn't really matter. It's just, if you do lay down, you may be prone to falling asleep. So make sure you adjust accordingly. Boom. Number 3. This one is kind of along the line of what I was saying earlier, but I want to get more into it in another video. But visualization, being able to perceive the you that you want to be, okay? If you were to close your eyes right now and to imagine who you are at this very moment in time, you'll be able to gain a pretty good picture of where you are in life and what you look like, who perceives you and how they perceive you, at least in your perception of how they perceive you, etc., etc. With that being said, I'm sure you've also had glimpses into a future that hasn't happened yet, that you have grasped a hold of, one that you don't really want to let go of. Good. Don't let go of it. What you want to do is start to add more characteristics towards it, okay? This is when we start to get into fucking with the mind a little bit more, and I find it pretty fun. But one of the ways to do this is to implement senses into that reality. This works best if you'd try writing it down first, if nothing else, because you're going to be detailing a lot. Like, you're detailing your life that hasn't happened yet. So it's going to be like, it hasn't happened yet, but it's happening at the same time. So with that, what I suggest is you can write down a little section. What does it look like? What does it smell like? What are the foods you're eating, so you can have some form of taste? These foods can just be something you've never had before, but you really want to try. And if you have no idea what that would be, just think about the foods that you already like, and then go find some variation of it that looks fucking insane, but you can't get just yet. I did that on top of the head. What are the other ones? What does it feel like? And what does it sound like? What are the sounds of your environment? Do you hear the laughter of your family? The tears of your enemies? Are you... Yeah, so you just use these senses to bring yourself closer to where you want to be. The opposite of this is doing something like speaking all the time and using all of the energy you could be using to bring yourself towards your vision, towards saying you're going to do your vision or saying you're going to do something related to your vision, and then not doing it because you've already expended all the energy, which pushes you further away from yourself, from being able to do it. This fucks up a lot of people. It fucks me up for a long time because I'm a fucking yapper. I can't help but to get the ideas that flow to me that I decide I want to lay ownership to. I know it's a little hypocritical, but I've grown through it. Just understand that the thoughts that you actualize, they become yours at that point because you did it. So with that being said, the thoughts that I wish I had gotten to do instead of actually saying I wanted to do them, I'm in the process of doing now, and it's because I've stopped talking about them. I love shutting the fuck up. I'm not gonna lie to you. Keeping that shit to yourself, cause now, let me not get into it. Listen, all right, boom. That's that's another good one. Another good form of reprogramming the mind is self-reflection. I know this can be something that can be harder for some people just because looking into the past and understanding that you are not perfect can be a little difficult sometimes, but do also understand that nobody is. So when you look at it that way, you can have mistakes. You can make mistakes. You were made to make mistakes. What you need to do now is to reflect on said mistakes so that one, you don't repeat them, and two, you can also make sure that other people around you that you care about do not make those same mistakes. If you do not reflect, how are you going to do that? How is anyone going to learn from anyone if no one knows what the fuck anyone's done? Because they're so ashamed and guilt-ridden, I should say, because of the way they perceive how they were. Listen. Unless you've done something that is like a registered crime that involves violence of another that was unjustified and completely upon yourself, you're more than likely okay. You just need to understand that the way you were was meant to teach you something about yourself, okay? You're not, well, you might be evil. I'm not gonna say you're not evil. I'm a little evil, okay? We all have a little bit of evil, but as long as that's overridden by the, I hate using these words anyways, good and evil don't really exist. Just know, the more you understand yourself, the more you can start to accept the fact that you are okay. The way you were is okay. As long as you're progressing towards who you want to be. And that leads into my fifth example, which is goal setting. You'll start to be able to understand that you're not the villain you've seen yourself to be. I promise you aren't. There are a lot worse people out here than you, okay? So take that weight off your shoulders and understand that you are okay. Now, as far as goal setting goes, this will be the last one, at least for now. This is something that I feel like 99.9999% of people have probably tried at a point in time and has fallen through with because of a lack of consistency. And as a matter of fact, any and all of what I've said so far will not fucking work if you do not be consistent with it. So what I need you to understand is, if you watched all of this, by now, pick at least one and stick to it. Or let me not even say that. Pick one that you like. So experiment with any of them, but figure out which one works best for you and stick with it. Be consistent, because if you are not consistent, none of what you're doing will matter, okay? If you do it once or twice in a month, what gain did you expect to get from that? Especially when both those times were like 2 weeks apart, okay? We need to make sure that this is a consistent practice. Make it a part of your routine, okay? It doesn't need to be every single day, but just set up a schedule where as though you can at least do it every other day, and then build it into every day, and then every fucking hour if you can, okay? That doesn't matter, as long as it's doing something to benefit you. Now, back to goal setting. If you're going to set goals for yourself, make sure you're being both realistic and unrealistic. Now, this is a little unorthodox, I know, But the reason I say to have unrealistic goals too is because you want to see how high your mind will let you go. Where do your ambitions really take you? If you could do anything you'd want to, what would that be? Write that down. That's not to say, let me not even say that. I'm 21, so if you're older than me and you take my advice and you end up trying to apply for to be an astronaut technician and it doesn't follow through, that's not my fault. However, what I will say is, if you have enough faith in that idea to the point where, and of course it's like actually possible in this material plane, you will be able to guide yourself to that goal through your smaller goals. Okay? What is something you can do now to bring yourself closer to where you want to be in a month? And then in that month, what is something that you can do that'll bring yourself closer to who you want to be in a year? Do that same thing that month, every month of the year, and so on. You apply these structures into your routine and you start to realize, oh, it's very possible to do that. It's very possible to do it. But if you have the perception that you cannot do it due to the idea that was presented to you, due to the programming that was placed on you, you will not believe that you can. And I swear it is the programming that is telling you you can. It is not the universe. It is not. It is not this existence that is telling you you cannot do it. It is all of the ideas that were implemented into your brain, whether you were young, whether you were fucking 26, whether you were 57. I'm not there yet, so I don't understand if you can really have people get in your head by then, but you know, if it applies, it applies. Just understand that you are fully capable. Because if you don't believe yourself, what the fuck? Who's supposed to do it for you? You know? It starts with you, and it will always start with you. So, I cooked, didn't I? I cooked. If you enjoyed today's video, which I know you did, drop me a like. Share the video with anybody you feel may benefit from it. I feel like this is one of my better videos because I actually added some structure to it. And due to that, I think I'm going to do this more often. I think, I don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about. Like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked what I said. Share the video again if anybody may benefit from it. We're at 150 subscribers. Thank you. I'll make sure I'm much more consistent. I know I'm posting this latest shit, but busy days. I'm trying to still fix my routine and my schedule, but the closer we get to freeing me from this shit being working for other people, I'm doing things in the background to get me out of there, the faster I can make these videos so much fucking better. So thank you again for watching. Subscribe for more if you enjoy my face, my voice, my words, my hands, my tattoos, any of the above, and I'll see you tomorrow.